About to give us the official introductions. Like to remind you on the tail of the tape, you've seen these numbers before. The ages haven't changed, nor has the weight. 6-pound advantage for Dan Hollywood Henderson. Now inside the octagon for the official introductions. Here's Bruce.
I'm going to ask him if he's ready. Then I'm going to ask you, once you give me that announcement, I'm going to tell you, let's get it on. You got any questions about anything? Protect yourself at all times, all right? Good luck.
Watch your fight, okay? UFC 17 middleweight tournament. Beginning with the fighter standing to my left, winning his first bout by a unanimous decision from the judges. He is a 2-time Olympic wrestling team member and a 3-time national champion with a mixed martial arts record of 2-0. Standing 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing 193 pounds, and fighting out of Huntington Beach with the Raw team. Please welcome back Dan Henderson. And the fighter, his opponent, standing to my right, with a win at 54 seconds in his first bout, he is the Canadian National Jiu-Jitsu Champion. He has a mixed martial arts record of 2-1, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 187 pounds, and fighting out of Toronto, Canada. Welcome back, Carlos Newton.
So we are getting set for our championship here in the middleweight tournament. Dan Hollywood Henderson, a fighter with a wide array of skills, ready to take on Carlos Newton. To get us underway, inside the octagon we go to Big John McCarthy.
All right, here we go for the middleweight tournament. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Here we go. Newton, very fresh, came out quickly in the semifinal matchup.
Newton's looking sharp. He's really on his game tonight. I don't know if Dan's got the energy to take him out, but it's going to be tight.
It does seem as though Newton has tremendous speed.
Yeah. He's putting the pressure on him, too, and which is smart because he knows that Dan's been through a war.
Oh, my goodness, a
nice
big
recovery.
flip and a turn.
Beautiful, beautiful. He's got position.
Good work, Joe.
Well, that almost reminded me of you with Zinoviev up there. He had an opportunity to really pound Newton down with the slam, but it seemed as though there was too much rotation. He couldn't get it to impact as well as he could have.
Yeah, they both turned with it. They were smart. They took the power out of the slam. But it's getting dangerous here. Carlos is going to get into his game, and I hope Dan doesn't get too aggressive with him.
Well, it'll be interesting to see now, truly, how good Henderson is at defending against submission. It seems as though Carlos Newton is very well versed in his ability to move those legs up and use an armbar triangle combination to go ahead and be able to take out his opponent.
Yeah, he's very patient too, Jeff. He's going to wait him out. And, I think with Dan's failing energy, he's going to catch him with one of these. He's got the leg up, going for the leg, going for the armbar.
Don't worry about it. Keep going. I can't stop it. Let's go.
Henderson's getting in some nice shots.
Oh, he's trying to come around. He's got that leg stepped over there, and that's keeping Henderson.
Yeah, he's trying to sweep him.
Right, he's trying to, as we call it, scooting out to the side. Henderson, though, lands another right hand.
Work through it. We got to work through it.
Good game. He's nice and low. He's nice and square. He's going to be hard to turn over. And unless Carlos can turn from the bottom, he ain't going to get him. He's turning right now, though. See him getting sideways? He's going to reach up for that arm.
That's something that I've seen quite often from the Lions, then going into that half backwards roll and waiting for the top man to either spin to one side or the other, and then immediately sees an arm, look for armbar.
Yeah, you got to change your leverage. You got to get that arm in between your legs. Carlos is slick. He's going to get him, I think. He's got a good base here, and he's really weeding him into the program.
Well, Henderson uses a ground and pound tactic. He used it well against Goes. The brief time they were on the ground, he dominated.
He's got good striking from the ground, too. That's real important. A lot of wrestlers lack that, but Dan's got it. He's really going to punish him if he stays in this position.
Henderson also someone that's always been in shape in wrestling.
Good. Stop right there. Get in your corner. In your corner. Get in your corner.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
That was a tough call. They pulled him up. I'm not sure why.
There's some, I think it's a equipment problem with Newton. Something's wrong with Newton.
It's a tough break for Dan. getting out of that position like that. He doesn't have much energy to get him back down.
Put that mouthpiece in.
Get
Let's
through
go.
them hands.
That's it. That's the line. Let's go. In there. Turn around.
There's something with a glove.
Turn around.
Mouthpiece is back
go.
in. Henderson now is being
Henderson,
talked
turn
to by
around.
John
Let's go.
McCarthy. They're going to
Are you
start it
ready?
again.
Are you ready? Let's get it on. Come on.
Boy, Carlos is looking sharp on his punches.
Oh, he's so quick.
Nice takedown.
Very, very quick. Newton just much faster than Henderson.
Dangerous
Oh, and
position.
a good job
Dangerous
there.
position.
He held the arm. He kept him from getting to the choke. He turned his back to his opponent, but he had one of the arms tied up, and that prevented him from being able to go to a rear naked choke.
That was a tight move, and then he came up punching. That was smart. Dan is definitely in shape and fired up for this game. It looks like he's taking Carlos out of his game a little bit. Made him think.
Certainly keeping him up on his feet, but it seems as though Newton is a little bit faster with his hands. But he absorbed some punishment there while he was down on the ground.
Oh, he took a nice shot there.
Another
right. A little inexperience in the punching. But boy, his grappling's smooth.
Yes, he is.
He's making them transitions going right
Front
through.
headlock there. That's Henderson's strong point in wrestling. He loves what most people in martial arts see as a guillotine choke, even with the arm in. Henderson is very powerful there and knows how to use leverage to move his opponent, and he did it well.
Keep it working. Doing good, gentlemen.
Seems as though now the speed is being a little bit compromised as Newton now is having to absorb more punishment and the fight's growing longer. And you have to wonder, when you have a quick fight like that and you come back, that first one was so fast, it's almost as though you never broke a sweat, you never got into it.
Continuous knees delivered by Henderson.
Well, he needs to push Dan. He needs to push Dan if he's going to get him. Dan's just too experienced in this game for the punching.
And immediately Henderson looks for that front headlock again. Nice knee there. And Henderson didn't go anywhere with that turn by Newton.
Well, he's an awesome Greco-Roman wrestler. You're not going to move him around from standing.
And he's in the guard now. This is where Newton likes to operate.
Keep it working.
Look for him now to try to get a little composure back and then start his offense again. We'll see if Henderson, and Henderson again is using the tactic of bringing his opponent in against the fence.
Yeah, put him in the fence, cut off his movement.
Keep it working.
Cut off his submission abilities, cut off his angles, and punish him. Smart move. Dan is really hot on this one.
Keep it working.
Certainly having the heavyweight champion in your camp is something that's going to help you in preparation, even if it is for a middleweight fight.
Work it through.
Rico
Work it
Ciparelli
through.
putting together a good team there at Raw.
All them wrestlers are real tough. Smart,
Work it
tough.
through.
Frank.
Hey, I
Thank
gotta
you,
admit
sir.
it. Yeah, I gotta admit it. You know.
Work it through.
And really, the weak point in wrestling is lack of submission skills. You never get to practice something that can potentially injure your opponent in the sport of wrestling.
Doing good.
6 minutes, 15 seconds into our middleweight tournament final. Again, we're having the pleasure of being joined for commentary by our reigning middleweight champion of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Frank Shamrock. Former Lions Den fighter, now part of the alliance with another former champion, Maurice Smith, Tsuyoshi Kosaka, and so many fine up-and-comers.
I'm sure a lot of the public would like to know, Frank, do you still train with Lions Den fighters?
A couple of them. They come up and train with me once in a while. We're quite a distance apart, so I'm not able to. But I got a bunch of young guys now that I'm bringing up. Little fighting brood, you know.
So many people into the alliance. It was a great comment made by you, Frank, and Maurice, really, when you first started to work together about how you both felt like you had some new toys to play with.
Yeah, that's great.
You with the striking, and of course, Maurice with the submissions. Frank, I'm sorry, Jeff, how truly difficult is it for the people at home watching to remain patient when you're in the guard? I know that's something you have to do, but for those who have not experienced the fights that you have, it seems out of a concept of my mind how you can remain patient when somebody's in your face trying to pound you.
Yeah, it's hard. The guard is a very practiced defensive position. There's just so many outlets and submissions and everything, and it's a big riddle. And to stay patient while someone's punching you, you're being punched out or whatever, is very difficult.
Henderson continuing to land shots to Carlos Newton. Is he going to back off? Is he going to strike again? McCarthy has asking Newton if he's okay. He is, and they're back on their feet. We have fought now for 8 minutes. Good
This is
fight.
a great fight, yeah. This is great. I think Newton's inexperience is going to come out here if he goes a little bit longer. He's getting in unknown territory. He's not sure what to do, how to finish him.
Henderson has been able to take what should be good position for Newton with the takedown into something that works for him, going with that front headlock, what we refer to in wrestling front headlock, which is more of a guillotine in martial arts, and then being able to use that leverage to get out from the bottom.
Work through it, come on.
Very unusual. Haven't seen a lot of that yet, but that just happens to be one of Dan Henderson's strengths in Greco-Roman wrestling, is that front headlock. And now it looks as though it's Henderson here who has maybe punched himself out a little bit. His hands are down. There they come back up.
I think that last kick hurt him pretty good. He sunk that in deep, right with the shin.
Caught him right on the left part of the knee, didn't he, Frank?
Yeah, Carlos would be smart to go back to that because Dan took a few of those from Goez and kind of wore that leg out.
And it was that same leg, Henderson's left leg.
Henderson does look a bit fatigued. Remember, he had to go the distance, 12 minutes and a 3-minute overtime already tonight to defeat Alan Goez.
Henderson, I think, did punch himself out a little bit inside of his guard, Carlos Newton's guard.
Carlos needs to seize this opportunity right here and just take it to him.
I agree with you. Oh, he's connected there.
Now he's going after it again with the left. Down goes Henderson. A strike down. Looking for a submission potentially. A spin by the wrestler. And Goez striking from his back. Pardon me, Newton continues to strike.
Interesting. This looks exactly like a wrestling hold here. Fighting for a takedown. You wrap the opponent's leg like that to keep him from spinning behind, but Henderson now a little bit more in control now with a side mount, but he's not doing anything with it, and he's catching strikes to the side from Newton.
I think he's tired himself out. I think he's just trying to hang on, wait for this time to pass.
He's got about 1 minute and 50 seconds still to wait, Frank. 12-minute regulation, 3-minute overtime.
I think he's going to stall and try to hang out. He's got to catch his wind.
Let's go. I know you're tired.
He's going too hard for too long. Newton would be smart to take advantage of this opportunity right now.
And Henderson, right? Henderson had that very long first fight against Alan Goez, and perhaps that is going to be the decisive factor in this fight. Henderson just not having the energy because Carlos Newton fought 20-second fight there, something you're used to doing there, Frank.
Well, Frank and Dan Hollywood Henderson have fought before. Henderson said he wants Frank again to demonstrate that power against our champion.
Dan is really impressive on his conditioning and on his strength. Just phenomenal.
Doing good. Come on, guys.
Anaerobic burst is a part of the sport of wrestling, so certainly he can pick them up and drop them like that, but you wonder now how long a recovery from that will it take for Henderson to really feel good again to be able to do that technique again. But I don't think that hurt Newton very much at all. I think he landed flat, that distributes the energy, and it's not going to bother him too much.
45 seconds now left in regulation time as we anticipate an overtime. You get 60 seconds in between regulation and overtime. Does that seem like the shortest 60 seconds of your life?
It does too, but it is much needed. If you go that long, 60 seconds is wonderful. 10 seconds is wonderful, 60 seconds. And it really gives you a chance to get your mind straight, get a new game plan, get back in there, get some fire.
Oh, and another strike by Henderson.
Remember the criteria. We've mentioned it earlier tonight. Aggressiveness, striking, and grappling. If indeed this does come down to a rendered decision by our 3 judges, Michael DePasquale, Tony Molyneux, and Judo Gene LaBelle. You all have great UFC experience. There's the horn. 12 minutes coming to an end here in our middleweight tournament final.
Back to your corner. You got 1 minute.
Frank, what do you do in this 1 minute? What do you do?
Rest.
Well, that's simple. Yeah.
Water. Get a good game plan. This is where your second comes in because you're not thinking about it. You usually don't know how to finish the fight. You need some outside help. Really get your focus back in what you're doing. And, I mean, getting that breath really helps. You have no idea.
Frank, your corner's barking at you. They're saying lots of things, but you're totally fatigued. Mentally, in this situation, are you hearing what your corner says?
If you've been training, you're hearing what your corner says. If you've been working with them, they've been telling you the same thing over and over and over. They know the game plan. And all you need is just a second opinion. It's like when I'm not getting a second opinion. you may know what you think you need to do, but that second round is so tough.
Is there a feeling of security being around the people that train you, feeling comfortable, knowing you're secure there?
Definitely. When I fight, I try to go to my corner fight because they're there. They can help me. You know, it's a big part of the game. Work your way over there. Get over there.
Comes in, you time up.
Advice from the champion, Mike.
It has worked very well for he and Maurice Smith, and not just a great respect for each other's abilities, not just a great partnership, but now a great friendship with Maurice Smith. And the alliance is up and running, and so are these two for overtime. Carlos Newton, 21 years old. Dan Hollywood Henderson, 27 years old.
Carlos still looks fresh.
Yes, he does.
Wow.
For the middleweight tournament final.
He's got some snap left down. Henderson looked good, though. When he turned around, he had a good composed face. Question is, though, it's okay to feel all right, but do you have the energy to put your hands up and use it?
Yeah, body won't do it. What are you going to do? He can have all the mental power you want.
He got that knee up high. That shows that he's feeling pretty good about that minute rest, doesn't it, Frank?
Yeah, he's really, Carlos is coming out strong. He's really kicking. I think he can catch Dan with a kick if he keeps working him. Work the leg and then work to the head.
He's throwing heavy leather. He's throwing power punches. He's setting it up with the first one and then throwing the heavy one second.
Hands on the waist just momentarily. Quick breath. There's another big kick. Delivering a right. Kind of skimmed off the head and now back with the left.
He's really flinging him.
He's putting it out there. Henderson should attack him right now while he's trying to regain it. That much energy being expended is certainly going to take a little bit out of you, and you need to regain your composure. And it seemed as though Carlos Newton there, hands down, breathing heavy. That was the time for Henderson to strike.
Come on, gentlemen, let's go.
Carlos Newton with good kicks. A jiu-jitsu man delivers the big right. Now he's going for the knockout.
He needs to get moving.
Going after Henderson. Delivering another shot. Now he falls down in a counter. They continue to strike.
Man, it's really hurt. He got that one. That one hit him good.
And now Henderson brings it down to the ground.
Little inexperience there on Newton. He should have pressed him and waited, took that shot. You know, he rushed in and got excited.
More like Smith with Coleman. Never let him get too close so that he could take you down, but take the strikes when you can. Nice arm bar.
Right there. Straight out. Got a lot of power on it.
Key lock here.
Dan needs to strike and pull his way out of this.
Sweat might have been a big factor in that, too.
No power either. A lot of technique, but no power.
I'll tell you what, Frank.
Great fight. Crowd showing their appreciation here.
The one thing the judges look at is how the fight finished. And Newton has dominated the overtime. He now has Henderson in his guard with just over 30 seconds remaining.
Henderson can leave the last impression here if he can connect on a few strikes.
The middleweight tournament title on the line. And a potential future matchup with Frank Shamrock, who in a later show will fight Jeremy Horn, defending his title for the second time. The question, will it take longer than 26 or 28 seconds?
Well, I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not.
Final seconds, and Henderson getting a couple of shots in.
They're really slaying.
And the horn sounds. What a tremendous middleweight tournament final here tonight from Mobile, Alabama.
Wow.
These guys are earning their money.
Okay, baby?
Yes, they did. Certainly Henderson's put in a lot of minutes for his money.
Outstanding job. Stick here in your nose real quick.
Frank, we got to ask you, who do you think?
Give me the towel.
What do I think? I think Newton.
Outstanding.
Newton seemed to dominate that.
Seemed to dominate. Seemed more technical. Dan just fresh. Dan would have beat him, but he was just too much.
You recover fast. Don't do that.
Very technical. Newton was very technical. Strikes a little crazy, but he went in. He went forward. He kicked. He punched. He kneed. You know, he did everything he's supposed to do.
He also landed the big punches late in the fight, as we mentioned. In the overtime, Carlos Newton kind of bringing down the big tree with the legs, and then late in the fight delivered the big blows, Jeff.
I think Henderson dominated early. He was able to score when he got him up against the fence, but he seemed to punch himself out, and from that point on, it seemed to be Carlos Newton who dominated the action.
Well, you shake each other's hands on a great fight.
Great respect shown inside the octagon. Here's some of the big blows late. Boom with the right.
Right on the temple. Wow.
And that dazed Henderson. Right here is really physically unable to defend himself. He's a little wobbly.
Newton should have stuck back and waited his time, took his shots. could have done more effective damage to him.
The judges have rendered a decision for the official call on who will be our middleweight tournament champion. Inside the octagon we go. Here's Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, after one overtime, the judges have a split decision. Starting with Judge Gene LaBelle, Carlos Newton. Judge Tony Molinex has it as Dan Henderson. And Michael DePasquale has it as Dan Henderson, with the winner and UFC middleweight tournament champion, Dan Henderson.
So our question was, were those late strikes enough? And in the judges' minds, they were not.